At the bottom of this career, you are sitting in a dark room with a headset pressed against your ear, watching 22 radar targets move across the screen while 4,800 lives depend on your next sentence. At the top, you are making six figures, supervising other controllers, and walking away at 56 whether your body is ready or not. That gap is the whole business. Air traffic control is one of those jobs people romanticize from the outside and survive from the inside. The selection process is brutal, the training is expensive in time and sanity, and the failure rate is high enough that most applicants never make it past the first gate. By the time you finally earn the right to control aircraft for a living, you have already paid with years of stress, sleep debt, and a nervous system that never fully turns off. This is every level of an air traffic controller's career. And if you want to see the numbers, the burnout, and the cost nobody puts in the brochure, stay with this one. Level 1, the selection gauntlet. You start with a job application, the same piece of paper 10,000 other people are also sending. You are not chosen. You are filtered. The FAA, NATCA, Eurocontrol, or your country's ANSP will run you through a gauntlet of psychometric tests, 3D spatial reasoning, multitasking under pressure, and English required at ICAO Level 4 or higher. The first cut might be 10,000 down to 300. The next round cuts that down to 30. The final round locks you into a 3 to 5% selection success rate. You receive no salary during this phase. You spend 6 to 12 months preparing on your own, studying phraseology, airspace structures, and basic ATC procedures. You pay for preparatory courses, practice tests, and language upgrades. You are investing time and money for a job that may never actually materialize. If you fail, you do not get a refund, you do not get a certificate, and you do not get a backup career path laid out for you. You only get the experience of being rejected for a job that pays six figures. By the time you hear, you passed, you have already lost the first round of your life. Level 2, the Academy. You arrive at the Academy as a recruit, not as a controller. You are in a classroom learning radar theory, sector design, vertical separation, and how to manage a stream of aircraft at 30,000 feet when turbulence turns that corridor into a moving maze. The instructors are former controllers. They talk slowly, but the tests are fast. A simulator exam is not about passing, it is about keeping 18 aircraft safe while an engine fails, a plane requests a higher altitude, and a route change floods your airspace in 90 seconds. You are not paid as a professional. If you are in the US, you might receive a stipend of $15,000 to $20,000 per year, enough to cover rent and food but not enough to build anything meaningful. You are surviving, not earning. The dropout rate is around 30%. Some people fail academically. More people fail psychologically. They cannot handle the feeling of being watched, judged, and measured on a daily basis. You are not just learning to control traffic, you are learning to control your own panic. By the time you graduate, you have already outsourced your peace of mind to the syllabus. Level 3, on-the-job training. You sit in a real control room for the first time with a live radar in front of you. A certified controller sits beside you, headphones on, hands hovering over the radios. Their job is not to teach you comfort. It is to pull the plug if you screw up. Every transmission you make, every clearance you issue, gets recorded, replayed, and dissected. You are monitored more closely than a toddler. You are earning $50,000 to $70,000 per year, which sounds like a lot until you realize you are trading 12-hour shifts, rotating days and nights, and your ability to separate work from your thoughts. You start noticing your hands shaking before a busy sector handoff. You dream in call signs and frequencies. You wake up at 3 a.m. because your brain is still running a mental replay of a tight separation event. Some people walk away at this stage. They are not worse at the job than others. They are simply aware that their mental health has a price, and their body is starting to show the bill. You are not a controller yet. You are a candidate under siege. By the time you pass OJT, you are no longer the same person who walked into the academy. Level 4, Certified Controller. You are now a certified air traffic controller. You coordinate 15 to 25 aircraft at once during peak hours. There is no break in the way normal jobs understand it. You cannot step away from the position to scratch your nose without another controller taking over your sector. You are not allowed to look at your watch for 30 minutes. You are not allowed to refill your water cup during a busy arrival flow. You are allowed to focus, and only to focus. In the US, your pay is now in the $120,000 to $180,000 range. At the busiest TRACONs like New York or Chicago, you can push toward $200,000 per year. This is where outsiders stop understanding the job. To them, this is the dream. To you, it is the point where your body starts to keep score. You are still on a 2-2-1 schedule or something similar, where your sleep cycle flips every couple of days. You adapt to being awake at 3 a.m. and then forced to sleep at 9 a.m. until your internal clock stops trying to obey. You start noticing your relationships changing. Your partner does not complain about overtime anymore. They accept that you are not home. You stop promising, next time, because you know the next time will be the same. You are not controlling traffic. You are controlling what is left of your life. Level 5, Senior/Supervisor. You become a senior controller or a supervisor. You sit behind a desk instead of a console. You wear an earpiece only when you need to observe a trainee or a troubled sector. You are no longer directly responsible for any single flight. You are now responsible for the people who are. Your salary climbs to $180,000 to $250,000 in the US, or €90,000 to €130,000 in Western Europe. On paper, you have made it. On the inside, you understand that you are now one step away from being forced out. In the US, the mandatory retirement age for controllers is 56. You are not allowed to keep flying in the mental cockpit after that, even if your hands are steady and your brain is sharper than most. You entered the career at 23. You are pushed out at 56. You have 33 years of accumulated stress, decisions, and near misses compressed into a single exit date. You look at the young trainees in the training room with the same horrified fascination you once had for your own instructors. You know exactly what they are about to pay, and you cannot tell them without sounding like a warning they will ignore. You wanted stability. You got a golden cage instead. Dark side insert, financials and burnout. Your financial upside is clear. You start at $50,000 to $70,000 per year during OJT, climb to $120,000 to $180,000 once certified, and eventually reach $200,000 to $240,000 at the busiest en route centers. But your real cost is hidden. After about 10 years, many controllers report that their annual out-of-pocket therapy and mental health expenses reach $8,000 to $15,000. You pay doctors to help you decompress because you are legally afraid to admit how much the job is breaking you. Burnout is not a rumor. Over 40% of controllers report chronic burnout symptoms after a decade. Night schedules destroy your sleep permanently. Divorce rates are more than double the national average. You are not allowed to be fragile. You are not allowed to be too stressed. You are allowed to be broken in silence. You are not allowed to be anything that might cost your license. You finally reach the top. You are a senior, a supervisor, a trainer. You do not sit in the tower anymore. You sit in an office and watch other people carry the weight. You are still earning six figures, but you are no longer the one who holds 4,800 lives in a single sentence. You watch the new recruits walk through the same doors you once walked through, eyes bright and resumes thick. You recognize the same arrogance in them that you once had. They believe they can handle the stress. They believe they will be the exception. You know the truth, no one is. The job is not a career. It is a transaction. You trade your youth, your sleep, and your mental health for a paycheck that disappears the moment you turn 56. You look at the radar screen one last time before you walk out the door for the final time. The targets keep moving. The world keeps flying. And you are no longer allowed to touch it.